welcome back. Oh, welcome back to the F1 video, man. Hope you guys are doing good, amazing, stupendous, lovely, outstanding. What the hell is going on with Max Verstappen's F1 title defense? Oh, I can't read today. Anyway, you got to see what's talking about. Shout out to the race again, but I don't know what's going on with Verstappen. I don't think it's really him because he does have a win. But at the same time, it's 2 races he had to retire early. So we got to see what's going on. I hope you guys are doing good and amazing. Also, you guys let me know what's been your biggest surprise. 3 races and it's been your biggest surprise, man. Let me know, interact with you guys, and let's go and just get started.
Max Verstappen's retirement from 2nd place in the Australian Grand Prix leaves him, in his words, already miles behind Charles Leclerc in the fight for the World Championship. It's his 2nd retirement in 3 races, so despite winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, he's now 46 points off the World Championship lead.
Jesus.
With 20 races to go, there's plenty of time
for
Verstappen
to catch
up, but that's only possible with a reliable car. And so far, Red Bull has the worst finishing rate in the field, with Verstappen and Sergio Perez taking the checkered flag just 3 times in 6 attempts.
That's what I'm saying. Perez hasn't really been bad. That's what I'm saying. He was P3 in Bahrain, 4th in Saudi Arabia, and 2nd in Australia. But Verstappen was 2nd, 1st, and 2nd. So both drivers haven't been racing bad. It's just their cars have just given up on them, which is weird. Very weird.
Attempts. To add to those,
I won't say like giving up, but like obviously car issues have arisen.
The race in Australia, while Leclerc and Ferrari won after leading every lap from pole position. So what's the problem, and how big a threat are Red Bull's current struggles to Verstappen?
Hey, Ferrari's for real, bro. Ferrari is for real this year. They ain't playing no games.
Verstappen slowed and parked his Red Bull on lap 39 of the Australian Grand Prix at a point when he was 7.4 seconds behind Leclerc. But it's clear that Red Bull knew there was a problem long before this. After the race, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner dismissed the suggestion that it was a problem with the Honda engine itself, describing the issue as an external fuel leak. Mention of it being related to fuel inevitably makes you think back to the Bahrain Grand Prix, where both Verstappen and Perez stopped with fuel cavitation, or vapour lock if you prefer.
With a couple laps to go as well.
This appears to be a very different problem of fuel escaping. As Horner said, the Red Bull pit wall was aware from the data that there was a problem, while Verstappen could also smell something problematic, as you would expect with a fuel leak. So this all points to a fuel leak somewhere in the system other than from the fuel bladder itself.
Yeah.
Red Bull has not so far revealed the cause of the leak or where exactly it was occurring, but the leak must have been a significant one to have this consequence. Initial indications are that it might have been something as straightforward as a split fuel line. Verstappen was also asked to manage the car in a certain way through the turn 5 right-hander during the race because of a known problem. Whether this was related to the leak or not is unclear, but it could be that there was some combination of conditions in the car specifically in that corner that worsened the leak and required an adjustment to the way he drove to mitigate it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know like he had to affect that turn, corner, whatever. Like he had to drive differently at that specific spot, which is, I didn't know that, which is kind of, pretty interesting as well. Like how one spot can like basically affect how a person can drive, and that seemed like that's what happened to Verstappen. But my thing is this: if Red Bull are gonna have these issues all year, because they've already Verstappen's already DNF'd 2 out of 3 races. And Perez has kind of had a similar issue regarding his DNS as well. So, is this going to happen this upcoming weekend? Is it going to happen, like, how often are we going to see this? And, are Red Bull going to be able to, change the car or whatever during the week? Is it going to be enough time for them to fix it? But knowing Red Bull, I expect them to, get their shit right. I expect them to get their shit right.
Concern. After all, we also know Red Bull had other problems before the start, with work going on at the front of the car moments before the race. That adds up to a picture of a car that's not yet reliable enough to allow Verstappen to mount a proper title challenge.
That's not good.
The key question is what caused the fuel leak and whether it was a one-off problem or something requiring countermeasures to prevent it occurring in the future.
Wait.
Most likely it was an isolated issue, given the team quickly reassured Sergio Perez when he inquired about Verstappen's retirement that it definitely wasn't going to affect his car. But of course, there's nothing that can be done to make up for the 18 points Verstappen and Red Bull lost. In the first two events of the year in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, Verstappen has struggled more in qualifying while being strong in the race. Before Sunday, it seemed this pattern would be repeated in Australia, but Red Bull also struggled during the race itself, with Verstappen simply not at the same level as Leclerc.
Yeah, true.
That was a real surprise.
Because I think Verstappen said that anyway during the race that he was struggling with like the pace of his car. So even he knew, because I think we mentioned that during the watch along. You should join it. I think he did mention during the race, during the watch along, like the race as well, that he was struggling regarding his pace. So it's not the best starts for Red Bull.
Friday, Red Bull and Ferrari were close on long run pace, with Verstappen appearing to have a slender advantage of maybe a tenth of a second over Leclerc. Single lap pace was a different story, and in qualifying, Leclerc took pole position with an advantage of almost 3 tenths over Verstappen. But even then, Verstappen was actually fractionally quicker than Leclerc over most of his qualifying lap, with all the time lost in the final 2 corners. Verstappen said after qualifying in response to a question from the race that he's found qualifying not very enjoyable so far this season, given problems achieving a consistent balance. He was comfortable with the car on the long runs, but on push laps he struggled. He complained that even when the car was working well, such as on the first Q3 run, what he called a random balance shift caused a time-sapping lockup. That was into the penultimate corner, perhaps explaining his caution on the second run. Generally, Sergio Perez has been a little happier with the car in qualifying trim, hence his pole position in Saudi Arabia. But this has been a consistent problem for Verstappen. But in Australia, Red Bull wasn't actually too concerned on Saturday as, after all, the Red Bull would be strong in the race.
I wish they were.
It was clear early on in the race that Red Bull was really in trouble.
That's what I'm saying.
Verstappen was one of the first drivers to complain about graining, with the front left tyre suffering midway through his opening stint. Save for the moments at the restart after the safety car when
Verstappen, what the hell is that?
Leclerc into turn 1 but couldn't pass him, he was never a threat. Red Bull's struggles came as a shock not only to Verstappen but even to dominant winner Leclerc. The question for Red Bull was whether its race struggles were circuit-specific, a one-off where tyre troubles on the resurfaced and reconfigured Albert Park track caught it out, or was it a trend that could continue in future races?
Playing catch-up. Yep. You're going to have to catch up.
Even though 20 races to go, it would be wrong to suggest Verstappen's 46-point deficit constitutes a crisis. But history does tell us that it can be difficult to overturn such a big gap. For Verstappen to turn that disadvantage into a title win this year would require him to set a new record. This would eclipse the 44-point deficit Sebastian Vettel reversed to beat Fernando Alonso to the 2012 World Championship.
Young
and that is with Red Bull having a clear performance advantage over Ferrari that Verstappen currently does not have. Of course, 25 points for a win was introduced in 2010, so that distorts this record. But even so, history tells us that it is rare to overturn a gap of this magnitude. If you adjust the gaps on a pro rata basis to put the pre-22 points deficits into today's money, only 6 times has a bigger gap been made up by a title
Jody
win.
Scheckter.
After all, playing catch-up is difficult, and Ferrari has proved to be consistent and reliable so far.
Ferrari's been good.
With its one retirement down to Carlos Sainz's error in Australia. This means Red Bull can't count on taking big chunks out of the lead. No wonder Verstappen later joked about needing...
That's crazy. I forgot about Carlos Sainz spinning
Christian
out.
Horner has
I forgot about that.
Ferrari's advantage is partly
What
down
the
to
hell,
starting
Chaz?
work on the 2022 car earlier, thanks to the fact Red Bull was embroiled in a title fight last year. So the hope there is that Red Bull's development rate will, from here, be faster. But it doesn't matter how fast your car is if you can't get to the finish.
Facts.
Red Bull does have a competitive car, and based on the 3 races so far, its Australian Grand Prix struggles are an outlier. The priority is to ensure that it puts the reliability problems behind it as soon as possible, for there to be a good chance of catching Leclerc and Ferrari, even with 20 races to go. But as Christian Horner said after the race, I'd rather fix a fast car than make a slow one fast.
Yeah, true. Fair point. Fair point. Hey, we gonna see. We are gonna see. Shout out to Race again for another great video. We are finna see can Verstappen come back. I think Verstappen is going to make this competitive. I just don't think he's out. But you gotta watch out for Mercedes as well, because even Lewis Hamilton hasn't really been the best. But maybe this is just Ferrari's year. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video and stuff as well. Comment below, guys, start some reactions to it. Yep. Oh shit, y'all know what to do. We'll see you guys later.